A strong El Niño is coming this winter. What does that mean? What is a strong El Niño? During a normal year, the warmest sea surface temperatures are in the Western Pacific and the Indian Ocean, in what's known as the Indo-Western Pacific Warm Pool. But every few years, the trade winds that blow from east to west weaken, allowing that warm water to slosh eastward and pile up along the equator. The warm water causes the air above it to warm and rise, fueling precipitation in the Central Pacific and shifting atmospheric circulation patterns across the basin. This pattern is known as El Niño, and it can affect weather around the world. What do the forecasts show for 2023? Whether forecasters think a strong El Niño will develop depends on whose forecast model they trust. This past spring, the dynamical forecast models were already very confident about the potential for a strong El Niño developing. These are big models that solve basic physics equations, starting with current oceanic and atmospheric conditions. However, statistical models, which use statistical predictors of El Niño calculated from historical observations, were less certain. Even in the most recent forecast model outlook, the dynamical forecast models were predicting a stronger El Niño than the statistical models were. If you go by just a sea surface temperature-based El Niño index, the forecast is for a fairly strong El Niño. How long do El Niños last? Often during El Niño events, particularly strong El Niño events, the sea surface temperature anomalies collapse really quickly during the Northern Hemisphere spring. Almost all end in April or May. One reason is that El Niño sows the seeds of its own demise. When El Niño happens, it uses up that warm water and the warm water volume shrinks. Eventually, it has eroded its fuel. The surface can stay warm for a while, but once the heat from the subsurface is gone and the trade winds return, the El Niño event collapses. At the end of past El Niño events, the sea surface anomaly dropped very fast, and we saw conditions typically switch to La Niña, El Niño's cooler opposite.